What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another market update video here at Benefit Central. I'm Benjamin, and today Bitcoin in the S&P charts. But before I get right into the market, please leave a like, drop a comment, and if you could subscribe, I greatly appreciate it. Everybody, we are seeing that we are getting this rejection off of our resistances right now, and this is as anticipated. A lot of people are panicking and saying that we're back in the bear market. Realistically, this is just a healthy pullback. I was gone for one day and everyone starts freaking out. Realistically, everybody, it's just a pullback. We should be worried, however, if we end up breaking the 40,000 level for the S&P 500. It's around 40,050, I would call it. Probably, yeah. I'd say 40,050. If we break 40,050 for the S&P 500, then I would say that we are continuing to rally back down. However, our indicator is rallying back up with us around 40,007 right here. So I mean, realistically, this is going to catch up with, this is a bullish cross. This is going to continue to push us back up. On the daily, we are overbought, so we need to come down a little bit as there looks like there's room right here that'll be enough room to reset the RSI. It's not a bear market. We're not falling, we're not tanking. It's the market, everyone hops on one side of things instantly, and honestly, it's just reading the charts on day to day. It's not we're tanking. It's unless we start tanking like we've seen that we have, you know what I mean? Like over here, I forgot what month this was. What was this? January? In January when we just tanked. Yeah, this is tanking, but we haven't necessarily done anything. We've been doing it. We've tanked. We've been in our bear market. We just finally went to one of our resistances. Finally, honestly, this is like the median zone, like where we can finally see if we're gonna break bullish or bearish. So realistically, once we get below 40,050, then I would say that we are going to continue down lower. And how much lower? I would say that we would just realistically go to the next support. So if we were to fall from the S&P, realistically, the scariest zone, if it doesn't catch support where it's at right now, if it doesn't catch support right now where it's at around 40,090, and the only reason I say that is because there's support and resistance right here, and then support right here, and then again right here. It tested it and then pushed up, couldn't break that 4184, and then came back off of that rejection, which is anticipated. Obviously, we're overbought. So it's coming back down. As long as we can find some support and I guess consolidate a bit, then we'll have an answer most likely to pop, just because we have this bullish break. Remember, we just fell and now are reversing back up. It's not the same scenario as right here. This was when we were falling with a bearish cross. We are recovering with a bullish trend, a W or triple bottom, however you want to call it. And then a break above, close above, confirm support above the neckline, continue to a new high, well, where our high was, and then right now facing our resistance right now. But we are overbought. We need to consolidate and retest a bit and just breathe before we continue up. So yes, we might have a few red days, or we might have a red day or two, but until we break, like I said, that 4050 and 4072 level, it won't continue further lower. And even if it were to break that, I wouldn't immediately jump into a short, just because our bullish cross and our indicators are there. So it would be, you know, a little interesting retest for support if we do end up coming back down, because I don't really see that happening too much further, unless we end up twisting bearish here off of our 200 EMA, if we can't end up breaking that. But a break of this is anticipated to hit the 200 EMA, and of course, as days continue, indicators get closer to where the chart is. But as of right now, currently, TP would be 4,300, right around where that next resistance is, around the next step. So once we break this, we will be into the next consolidation area, around that high. A little bit of support and resistance here around 4,300, and then around most likely it'd be 4188, but you could as well bring it back down to 4110, where we're kind of struggling at right now. But other than that, realistically, looking at the weekly, you can see that, again, like I said, we got that doji coming back down for that retest for the support, and I can show you guys it's around the same area, I believe 4160, 4180. And as long as we touch this, most likely we could wick below it, just to get, you know, shock, take some people out, wick some people out, stop some people out. Of course, that's just how the market plays. You have to be smart enough to dodge that. But it could as well find support, close above this, and then you would see us continue to try to consolidate back up. You know, most likely just because we've broken bullish throughout this pattern here. Finally forming, a lot of people were to call this a teacup. As long as we can get this handle to start forming, it's a bit of consolidation and it can break bullish. Some of those break bearish as well, so it's more bullish than bear. But besides that, I'm going to jump into the monthly real quick just to show you guys how everything is forming. You can see that we're getting that rejection, like I said, off that 4188, and we could see that this turns into a bear 180 if we had a lot of bear momentum. However, I realistically don't think that's going to happen just with what's going on. Us redefining the recession definition and all of that, etc. However, if we are still bullish, we should only see a 50% retracement down to 40,000, maybe even less than that. Realistically, that would mean that we are still bullish. Like I said, we can see that I'd say 35% retest down to around 40,030, 40,050, like I said, max 4,000, and that would indicate that we are still bullish. And then that would just be the wick, and then the continuation of the bullish pattern for this month, to see if we can continue bullish here and get out of this downtrend that we are still technically kind of in. However, jumping into Bitcoin just real quick to show you how that's been reacting with everything. It has been an interesting time with crypto. As you can see that we are still in this downtrend that I believe in. Checking in on the weekly, well, first, before I jump too ahead, right now for the monthly, you can see that we do have this GBI formation that is forming. I've been calling this all week, I believe even last week, but we just need to be careful on this just because of how small this bullish candle is. We did close above our I believe this is our 50 EMA right here, but that is just not enough for me to be comfortable, because we can still come back down with enough bearish momentum. Let's say we were to top here, hit this, and then we get a mass amount of sellers come back in or something crazy. We can still see this set up for a leg down, and I don't want that to happen. So as long as we can close above this 250 EMA, then I do believe that we should continue further bullish momentum. However, looking in on the weekly, you can tell that this week is battling it right now on the 200 EMA. We were getting that RBI, however we did get rejected as we were overbought. However, on the weekly for Bitcoin, we are extremely oversold, so or at least just oversold for right now. Extremely oversold would probably be a bit lower, like we were before, wicking below our oversold line. But right now we are just, you know, a little above oversold, which means we do have a lot more room to bounce up, but we still have a tad bit more room to go down. So we do just realistically want to see how everything closes or continues throughout the week. But checking in on the daily, you can see that we did have our break, our bullish break, as you saw that load in. We had our bullish break and then a rejection just because of how overbought that we ended up getting. However, we didn't lose any money on this. Of course, that we continued to make profits as we rode this. And as soon as we saw a bit of rejection, we ended up getting out of it. But as of right now, we do have that bear 180 kicking in on the daily, so it is a bit interesting. But we are making higher lows as well as higher highs. We didn't make that higher high quite yet where we wanted to. We found a bit of rejection, I would say around 24,000, which is anticipated, but yet we do need to get across this if we want to see further bullish momentum for Bitcoin and the rest of the cryptos. We would need to close above this at least 24K, touching 25K, and then closing above 25K will lead us back into our further consolidation of the higher Bitcoin prices, just for FOMO and stuff like that. We did see quite a rally, honestly, but honestly looking at it, it really wasn't too much from what we've dropped. You guys have to remember that we have dropped an extreme amount, and that we do need to continue back up. This could technically just be another consolidation before we, leg down. However, if you go and look at the rest, this is starting to form one of the longest consolidations besides here, and I believe that this was in. The reason this took so long is because this was our 30 to 40K range area, and this is realistically where most retailers and buyers buy in for Bitcoin and like Bitcoin to be at. It's a healthy price for it to be at, right in the middle from its high and then its low. But as of right now, realistically, this was still the longest that we've seen a bit of consolidation, and then now this is forming here as well as here. So we have a bit of consolidation still to do. Like I said, we can still decide to just trade sideways until we hit the end of this downtrend. descending channel realistically that we have. But other than that, realistically, we could see, you know, a bit more highs, a bit more lows, but realistically, no crazy movements, just a bit of consolidation around our most likely 17,500 level to our 25K level, probably just bouncing around in that area until we find the end of this descending channel and forcing us to either break out one way. However, diving into Ethereum just real quick, just to show you guys what is going on there. I am actively trading this one live if you guys would like to go check that out. However, looking at the daily, you can see we're getting the same bear 180. The reason I'm out of it as of right now, however, we did ride the rally up from the break of 1700 all the way to 1800, as well as jumping in from a bounce from 1750 to 1800 and then riding it back down, shorting 1750 to 1700. It's just you play whole numbers, half numbers, and it does work out pretty well for Ethereum for me. And most of my group, they follow some of the trades that I throw as well. And as long as they get in at the right time, I do, you know, end up throwing a call, and then sometimes everybody catches it later. Whatever happens, you do need to catch it. The market is very sensitive. Entry is everything. If you catch it at 1720, you're risking $20 off of maybe a 1.0 trade. You could be risking $200 falling, and maybe let's say it reverses, and now you have to make the decision to bite $200 plus whatever, you know, finally you would have said to get out of the trade. So entry is everything and timing is everything. So realistically, you just want to be patient, and if it's not there, don't do it. If it's there, do it then. However, jumping into the daily, looking at the weekly, we're done with the daily, looking into the weekly. We are getting that. We still have this pivot that we can form. Honestly, I can still see us form this pivot and hit 2000 for our weekly this week. However, we are just getting that reset, I believe. I don't realistically know why we couldn't just be setting in our wicks for the candles. However, realistically, I don't know why we're still going down a bit. I get we were overbought on the dailies as well, but oversold extremely for a while on the weekly for Ethereum, and then now just being a tad a bit above, maybe 40 right here above our oversold. However, still low. We still have a lot of room to continue forward for Ethereum, and especially for our merge, and as well as tomorrow for our CPI data and a few other things released tomorrow. Seeing how that will affect markets, but I do believe today is just our breather, and then tomorrow we can see some more bullish momentum. However, if we continue bearish, that is when I'll update you guys and show you guys what my next steps are. But as of right now, I'm not too worried. I am just letting this do what it needs to do, breathe and move how it needs to move. But I do see this pivot as well as us hitting this next bullish target at around 2000 for Ethereum. It is honestly wanted for everyone right now for the prices, and as well as we need to hit this top of the channel as well before we can continue back bearish, if that's what everybody and if that's what our market is in right now. But we do need to continue up, and as well as Ethereum being realistically like a $5,000 asset, $3,000 asset around there. It does have a lot of components with it, having altcoins and NFTs and etc. with just being involved with it. However, we did get this death cross, this bearish cross for Ethereum, as well as a few other cryptos. But as you can tell, that we are trying to round this fall out, trying to round the bottom out, trying to make it above this our red indicator here. As long as we can, and we can continue up and then close above it, we'll totally be fine for continuation of prices. However, just stay updated on that. But before I leave, I'm going to show you guys XRP. Thank God we didn't jump the gun on XRP. Like I said, I wasn't just too bullish on this just because of how it was behaving. However, I do still see the weekly RBI. If it can continue and does not pass this lower wick, right now it already beat the last candle's wick, so technically that would be an entry for a short. However, TP would be this next wick here, and then that could be your next entry if it wants to continue and further push lower. However, we could just, like I say, be sitting in some wicks for a continuation to get up, reset the RSI, even though that on the weekly we are extremely over, or not extremely, but just oversold. However, looking at the daily, you can tell that we got that bullish cross. However, we're coming back down, as you just saw it reload. We got that bullish cross pushing us up. Weak candles, very weak candles on the bullish side. As you can tell that the bears ended up 180ing this, and now we are seeing whether we are closing above still bulls, if bulls have enough momentum, or if bears are coming into play and it's pushing us a bit lower, curving the indicators lower, and possibly forming another bearish cross. So it all just depends on how this decides to close, but looking at the monthly, you can tell that we do have that other leg down forming as well. So a lot of interesting moves and patterns right now for the crypto market and stock market. But long term, realistically, I'd say this is a dip and rip. It would dip and then find a bottom and then rip, obviously. But there's just a lot of patterns. We are in this descending channel. We are trying to find a bottom for the market, as well as dealing with inflation and everything else that is going on inside the world. But other than that, realistically, just take it day by day. Try to find out where the trades are going, where your trade is, understand why you hopped into a trade. Honestly, there should be no reason why you get in the market if there isn't a reason. Don't just gamble your money at that point. You're just gambling. But other than that, everybody, that was just another quick market update video for you guys, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Ciao.